Hi, this is Dan Chambers of Chambers Law Firm. This is the latest in a series of videos that we've put together to show the importance of using forensic evidence to defend in your criminal case. We previously did a video on the importance of audiovisual experts for serious cases, and in this particular video I want to address the topic of ballistics. Ballistics is the field that has to do with firearm comparison, and usually the way it comes up is a situation where a firearm is used in a crime. It could be a murder, an assault, or any other type of crime where a firearm is fired or discharged. If it's a semi-automatic weapon, it typically kicks out a casing. And if that firearm is fired more than once, obviously you may have several casings on the ground near the crime scene. What the crime labs try to do, and emphasis on the word try, is to take those casings, and if they find the firearm, they then test fire that firearm, and they compare the casings of their test fire with those found at the crime scene to try to come up with a so-called match. And then that expert will come into court for the prosecution and typically say, I've analyzed the test fired casings and the ones at the scene, and it's my opinion they were fired from the same firearm. Here's the big problem with that. There are two different studies that have come out in the last 10 to 15 years, one of them from the National Academy of Science in 2008, and then the Presidential Council on Forensic Science also came up with a report called the PCAST report in 2016. The conclusions in those two studies were actually quite shocking. They had taken criminalists that analyzed casings and given them random casings to compare, and the error rate in their analysis, in other words, the amount of times they were wrong, was incredibly high. And the reason it's incredibly high is that these so-called experts will come on the witness stand and tell you that there are no defined standards in their comparison. And if they're being honest, will simply say, it's my subjective belief based on looking at two images put together that there's enough similarity that I feel comfortable with it. Well, you can see all of the scientific problems with that. It's not done pursuant to the scientific method, and it's based completely on the subjectivity of that particular firearm examiner. Now, if you're facing a serious charge like a murder or any other type of life case and there's a firearm involved, you're definitely going to want to look into hiring a ballistics expert to come in and debunk the prosecutor's so-called expert, because it's far from certain in terms of their analysis of whether these casings, in fact, came from the same weapon. Don't forget, here at Chambers Law Firm, we always offer a free consultation. So if you or a loved one are facing serious charges and you may need ballistics expert testimony, give us a call and we'll talk to you about your case and tell you how we can help you. Thank you.